All right, let's go back to Grace White and Bob Stein. They got some more information, a closer look on what's going on in the polls and the voting today. Hey, Grace.
Reka, we're starting to see a few more counties sprinkle in. Bob, talk about the significant ones that you think will be an indication of how things will go tonight.
Well, I mean, right now it's looking pretty much like what you would have expected from the polling data. Okay, you're looking at Republican boxes, with the exception of in the Valley, of course Harris. We see, of course, Dallas, but Collin, Denton, Tarrant counties are trending Republican. I want to go back to this number, and this is the number that now is beginning. Go back to the statewide number. We think there's between 9 and 10 million votes. Dave Carney, the campaign manager for Governor Abbott, thought 10.2 million votes. I think that's a little high. I think it's under 10, maybe close to it. But look at this. We're seeing 2.5 million votes. The spread's 3 points. Now, we don't know where these votes are coming from. There's a whole vast number of these 254 counties, but most of these counties don't add up. 60% of the vote is going to come from less than 60 counties. 60, always the way I think about it. I think it's early, and this is probably the early vote, but I'm a little surprised at how close it is. We'll see at what happens later on in the evening. I still have this sense that Abbott is in a position to win, but he won by 15 points in 2018.
Yeah, let's talk about the spread.
I don't think he's going to win by double digits. I think this number is going to be considerably lower. And history tells us something else. In the last 3 presidential elections, where Republicans have won every one of those elections.
And here's the presidential from 2020, looking at the Texas map.
The margin was getting, if you go back to 2016, you'll see that the margin was almost 10 points. If you go to 2020, that margin gets cut by 3 or 4 points. It's about 6, I think 5.5, whatever. The important point is Democrats are doing consistently better. And it may very well be that Abbott's margins here are simply part of a trend where Republicans win, but they win by smaller margins. Right now, it's, a pretty healthy, heavy, but it's not double digit like it was in 2018, excuse me.
So 2018, just to go back to that was Governor Abbott versus Lupe Valdez. Many people remember that race. He won by 13 points in 2018. If you go back to 2014, when he ran against Wendy Davis, that spread was 20 points. So you see the difference there. But you and I were also talking about what you are watching tonight is turnout, the percent of registered voters that are coming to the polls, that came to the polls today to make their voices heard. Yeah, why is that interesting to you?
Well, what's important here, of course, is that generally the norm is a higher turnout favors Democratic candidates because Democratic voters tend to be younger, less experienced, and they are not likely to show up in these midterm elections. In 2018, we had the highest midterm election in over 40 years.
53%.
Against 33% in 2014.
That's a big difference.
That's a 20-point difference. Now, if you say that it's lower in 2020, it will be. I don't think it'll be 53. It will be much higher than 33, and my guess is somewhere between 45, maybe 46, 47. That will still be an unusually high turnout when you consider normal turnouts in midterm elections, at least in this century. Does that help Democrats? We'll see. But again, these are very early results. They don't reflect Election Day polling, where Governor Abbott might be doing much better because of Republicans' fear of voting by mail.
And Bob, let's take a quick look, if we have some time, at the race for lieutenant governor. Again, this is early, just what we're starting to see trickle in results from across the state. Again, Patrick with 58%, Collier at 48%. And we'll also take a look at the attorney general's race closer here. Paxton 49, Garza 48. Again, early results. A lot of counties still not reporting.
There's a pattern that's beginning to show here. The governor is going to run way ahead of lieutenant governor, AG candidates, ag secretary, such as Sid Miller.
And that's something you were expecting.
And I think that, and if there's going to be an upset, it might not be at the top of the ticket, but it might be showing this closeness, if you want. If that holds up, you might see Paxton. He's the most vulnerable, I think, of the Republican statewide candidates. He's been under a lot of controversy.
A lot of controversy.
And it may be that it's not so much people are voting for Garza. What I want to see, for instance, look at that, 1.235. Now go back to the governor's race.
All right, I think we're out of time, Bob, but we'll keep watching it. Ron and Reka, we're going to send it back to you for now.